Hey everyone, welcome to Solving Quadratics. We're down to part 4, all in one day. 4, baby. Okay, solving using the quadratic formula. You can solve any quadratic equation using the quadratic formula. Okay, so basically we're going to be finding the zeros. So we've got this formula and its relation to our quadratic. So number one, I want everything on one side. So they're so mean. I have to distribute first 5 times this quantity. So I'm going to have 3x squared equals 5x plus 25. Okay? Now, what do you want to make sure you do is get one side equal to 0. So let's subtract the 5x, subtract the 25. So we're left with 3x squared, 3x squared minus 5x minus 25 equals 0. So the next thing you want to do is identify your terms. Well, we know that a is 3. That's the number being multiplied to the x squared. Our b value is minus 5, and our c value is minus 25. So let's be careful of the signs. Now I apply my rule. So I want my x. I'm solving. You remember, when I solve equations, I want, in this case, we want the x-intercepts because the y value is 0. So there was this negative boy. He was up or down about going to this radical party. The boy was kind of as a square. He missed out on 4 awesome chicks. Chicks, we probably should, make it politically correct. That's not what we call our lady friends. We don't call women chicks. The party was all over by 2 a.m. There we go. So now it's plug and chug. That's all this is. Be careful. The opposite of my b value, negative 5. That's what big mistake will be right there. Plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. Oops. Yeah, 2 times. No, it is 2 times 3. Sorry. So b is negative 5, a is 3, and negative 25. Okay, so it looks like we're going to have some imaginary solutions here on our first example. No. So the opposite of negative 5 is 5. Plus or minus the square root, okay, of 25 minus 4 times 3 times negative 25. Oops, and I spoke too soon. Minus the negative, this is going to be plus 300. Okay, all over 6. So almost done here. So now we're going to have 5 plus or minus the square root of 325 all over 6. And that equals x. So now we got to try to simplify this. Okay, so you got to look at factors. So I know that 325 is divisible by 5. Okay, and so then you could think about 325 and 25, right? That doesn't work. How about 325? So we're going to go with 5 here. Let's try to simplify this. So we have 5 plus or minus the square root of 65 times 5 over 6. Okay, now can we break up 65? And we can. It ends in 5. So that's 13. So we can break up 65. So let's go ahead and do that again. So 65 now is 13 times 5. That's what 65 is. I got this extra 5. Ooh, I like that. That's going to be nice. And all over 6. Remember, we're just solving. We're just using some algebra skill now. So 5 plus or minus, well, I'm going to write this out. So 13 times 5 squared all over 6. Guess what's coming out? So you have 5 plus or minus, 5's coming out here. 5 plus or minus 5 over root 5 times, root 13 all over 6. Oh, you can't do anything with that. We can write our solutions as 5 plus 5 root 13 all over 6. That's one solution for x. Our other solution is 5 minus 5 root 13 over 6. So that is one example of how to solve a quadratic equation using the quadratic formula. Remember, make sure everything's on one side by itself. There's your formula. Identify your A, B, and C. Okay? And then it's a matter of substituting properly and throwing up a whole bunch of algebra skill. Okay? So if you have any questions or comments, let me know. We'll see you next time.